Rachel stood at the window, already in her black morning dress, red-rimmed eyes, one hand pressed against the cold glass. The funeral was hours away. A knock, sharp, 3 hard beats. She froze. No one visited her on funeral mornings. She opened the door. 3 U.S. Army generals filled her porch, their dark blue uniforms stark against the morning light.
Miss Rachel, we came about Master Sergeant Raymond Cole.
The lead general lifted a sealed envelope. A red arrow pointed to the flap. The Department of Defense emblem stared back at her. 8 years earlier, that stoop was empty. Rachel leaned in her doorway after a double shift. She spotted a man across the street, head down, still as a forgotten statue. His jacket was patched with duct tape. He looked like a man who had stopped expecting warmth from anyone.
Hey, you hungry?
I ain't looking for trouble, ma'am.
He rose slowly, crossed the street, and sank onto her stoop. She vanished inside, then came back with a plate. The first Sunday meal had begun. The plate held stew and cornbread, leftovers from her own dinner. Still warm, she set it down without ceremony, then sat on the step beside him, careful to leave space.
What's your name? I can't just keep calling you, hey.
Raymond. Just Raymond. I served in the army a long time ago, before I ended up here.
He said it like the words had rust on them, then picked up the fork with a hand that trembled slightly. The screen door creaked. Maya, 10, stood in the doorway, a coloring book clutched against her chest.
Mama, why is that man sitting on our steps? Is he lost?
He's not lost, baby. He's just hungry. Go on inside and set the table.
She went inside, filled a glass with cold water, and brought it back to the stoop without a word. He drank first, then he ate, slowly, like a man who'd forgotten what a warm meal felt like.
I make extra every Sunday. If you are around, there's always a plate.
The next Sunday, Raymond was already on the stoop. He didn't knock. He just sat there, hands folded, as if he'd been coming for years. A neighbor watched from across the street. Later, she cornered Rachel by the mailbox. You feed a homeless man? A stranger? You have a child to think about.
He's not a stranger anymore. He's just hungry, that's all.
The neighbor walked away, shaking her head. That night, Rachel sat at the kitchen table, a stack of overdue bills in front of her. She pushed them aside and started the next Sunday's stew.
Mama, I drew you and me and Mr. Raymond. He's got a smile, see?
That's beautiful, sweetheart. Let's show him tomorrow.
The next Sunday, Maya held the drawing up to Raymond. He stared at the 3 stick figures, then looked at Rachel.
You are raising her right. And you are a good woman, Rachel. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Rachel glanced at his shoes, split soles, duct tape wrapped around the toe. Without a word, she went inside and set aside her late father's old boots by the door. The Sundays became a rhythm. Same stoop, same plate, same quiet grace. No questions, no promises, but the weight of keeping it up pressed on her shoulders each week. Years peeled away. Maya turned 18, her braids replaced by a neat natural. She still helped stir the stew every Saturday night. The weekend job at the laundromat evaporated. Rachel sat at the kitchen table, calculator in hand. The numbers never adding up, she portioned out the stew. Full bowl for Raymond, half for herself. Maya noticed but held her tongue.
Mom, why do we do this every single Sunday? Even when we're stretched thin?
Because some kindness doesn't need a reason, Maya. It just asks to be done.
On the stoop, Raymond stood to thank her, and his knees buckled. Rachel caught his arm before he hit the concrete. His face was grayer than last week, the lines deeper. She steadied him, heart thudding.
I am fine. Just lightheaded. Don't waste your worry on me.
Sit. I'll get more water. You are not going anywhere until you are steady.
That night, she stared at the stove, her own stomach empty. The numbers still didn't add up, but she couldn't subtract him. The Sunday after, a cold snap froze the city. Rachel stood in the doorway, a wrapped plate in her hands. The stoop was empty.
Raymond,
She checked under the oak, behind the corner store. Nothing. Then, in a doorway 2 streets over, a huddled shape. He was slumped inside, a ratty blanket his only shield. Lips bluish, eyes unfocused.
Didn't think anyone would notice.
well, I noticed. Come on, you are not sleeping in the cold tonight.
She pulled him up, his arm heavy over her shoulders. Together they inched back to her stoop. Step by painful step, she sat him at the kitchen table, the heater blowing, the plate she'd wrapped still warm. She set it in front of him. He ate with trembling hands, the color slowly returning to his face. Rachel watched from the doorway, her own stomach empty. She made a silent vow. As long as she stood, he would not go hungry. The cough that had once been a nuisance became a racking, wet thing that doubled him over. Rachel watched the Sunday plate cooling beside them.
We're going to the clinic, Raymond, and I won't hear any argument.
At the community clinic, a young doctor pressed a stethoscope to Raymond's chest. Then he pulled off his glasses and gestured for Rachel to follow him into the hallway. He said, "His liver and kidneys are failing. There is no treatment here, only making him comfortable. I am sorry."
I heard him, you know. He said, I am dying. Don't you go blaming yourself. You did more than anyone ever did.
On the walk home, Raymond walked straight-backed, his face turned to the thin winter sun. He looked like a man who'd made peace with a long fight.
Mr. Raymond, is there really no one we could call? No family at all?
No, child. My family's long gone. Only had my brothers in the sand. They're all gone now.
Then you've got us. That'll have to be enough.
That night, Rachel climbed to the top of her closet and pulled down her late mother's down comforter, the warmest thing she owned, and laid it on the stoop. By the next Sunday, it was folded neatly beside Raymond, as if he'd used it with care. The rain came sideways that Sunday. Rachel pulled the awning tighter and set the plate on the driest step. Raymond stared into the storm, chewing slowly.
In the desert, I had brothers. Real brothers. Then, one day, they were just gone. I saw things no man should see, Rachel.
You don't have to tell me. Not if it hurts.
He looked at her, then not through her, but into her. Gratitude and old pain tangled in the lines around his mouth.
That garden back there, the rose bush. It was your mother's, wasn't it? She kept it alive for years.
You remember that. The rose bush was half dead when I took over. She had a way with things that were broken.
That's why it keeps blooming. She passed it to you.
The storm filled the silence. He never said more about the desert, but Rachel felt the weight of the years he carried like a second coat. After he left, she stood in the kitchen, her mind snagging on his words. A man who saw things no one should, and carried it alone. She didn't pry, but from that Sunday on, the question slept under every meal. Who was this man really? The next Sunday, the stoop stayed empty. The plate she set out at noon grew cold, the food untouched. She called every hospital within 20 miles. No one had a John Doe who matched his description.
He's about 5'10", gray hair, walks with a limp. He wouldn't carry any ID. Please, just check again.
I'll go down to the shelter on North Avenue. Sometimes he goes there when it storms.
3 days later, her phone rang. A calm voice informed her a man had been found on a park bench that morning. At the morgue, she stood before a gurney. The attendant drew back the sheet. Rachel's hand flew to her mouth.
That's him. That's Raymond.
She stepped back, her whole body trembling. Maya caught her in the hallway and held her tight.
He knew he mattered, Mom. You made sure he knew.
Rachel walked home alone. The stoop was bare. The plate still sat by the door, now cold and starting to crack. Inside her living room, Rachel sank into the armchair. The morgue gave her a small plastic bag, Raymond's only possession, a worn Bible.
The only thing he ever carried. No wallet, no phone, just this.
She opened the cover. A photograph, faded to sepia, slipped onto her lap. A young black soldier in uniform, a beret she didn't recognize. The beret had a small shield patch, something she'd never seen on any uniform. Her thumb traced the soldier's face. Raymond's eyes, years younger.
What were you in, Raymond? This ain't no regular army.
She turned it over. Blank. No name, no date, no hint.
8 years, and I never asked, never pushed. Now I've got nothing but this.
She pressed the photograph to her chest and let the sobs come. The Bible lay open on the armrest, a page smudged from years of a thumb. That night, she barely slept. The photograph leaned against the lamp, watching her with young eyes. The mystery of Raymond's past had finally taken physical form. There was more to him than a homeless veteran. She felt it in her bones now, and she had no one to ask. Rachel sat across from the funeral director, a thin catalog of coffins between them. She didn't open it. "The simplest one you have," she said. "No service, just the burial."
His name is Raymond Cole. That's all I know.
He would have never asked for this, Mom.
That's exactly why he deserves it.
She slid her savings across the desk, the emergency fund she'd guarded for years, the Christmas money, all in wrinkled bills. The director counted slowly, each bill flattened, then nodded. The funeral would be small, but it would be dignified. As she stood, Rachel touched the photograph in her pocket, its edges sharp through the fabric of her dress.
Just a few more days, Raymond. I don't know who you were, but I know who you were, to me. We'll send you off, right?
As they walked out, the funeral home's dim hallway swallowed them. Maya slipped her arm through her mother's. The funeral was set for Friday morning. Only the pastor, Maya, and Rachel, and a mystery she couldn't solve resting in her pocket. The night before the funeral, Rachel set the faded photograph on the mantelpiece, angling it toward the lamplight. The beret in the picture had a small shield flash, nothing like the standard army pins she'd seen on base.
What were you hiding, Raymond?
Maya walked in, holding the worn Bible. She'd been reading it, and a piece of brittle newsprint had slipped from the back lining.
Mom, look at this. It was pressed inside like he wanted someone to find it.
From the Baltimore Sunday, 1992, an unidentified serviceman from a classified unit was granted honors for actions he would never be allowed to claim.
That could be anyone. Hundreds of soldiers showed up in the paper.
But what if it's him, Mom? A classified unit. He said he had brothers in the desert.
Rachel stared at the photograph, silent. The doubt and the hope warred on her face. She carried that scrap of newsprint to bed, the words running in circles through the dark. Rachel fastened the last pearl earring. The black dress hung on her like a question she wasn't ready to answer. She picked up the photograph from the mantel, ran a thumb over the young soldier's face. No more clues. Just a man she fed for 8 years.
I hope you are at peace, Raymond.
A knock, hard, deliberate. She flinched. Rachel's eyes darted to the door. No one came visiting on funeral mornings. She opened it. 3 uniformed men stood in the gray dawn light, their ribbons a silent announcement. The lead general was tall, his face carved from something that didn't break. He spoke first.
Are you Miss Rachel?
Her mouth opened, but no sound came. She just nodded, her face going pale.
We came about Master Sergeant Raymond Cole.
Rachel's hand tightened on the doorframe. Master Sergeant, not a private. Her mind stumbled over the word. She stepped back, the cold air washing over her.
Master Sergeant? He was homeless for years.
May we come inside, Miss Rachel? This conversation deserves walls.
She nodded, ushering them in, the living room, with its worn armchair and family photos, suddenly felt like a stage for something she didn't understand. General Harris removed his cap, cradling it under his arm. General Chen stood by the window, back straight, silver hair catching the gray morning light. Maya appeared from the hallway, still buttoning her Sunday blouse. She froze when she saw the uniforms.
Mom, who are they?
They're from the army, Maya. About Raymond.
Miss Rachel, we've been searching for you for months. The man you fed every Sunday was one of the most decorated soldiers this country has ever had to erase from its records.
Rachel's legs gave out. She sank onto the arm of the chair, the photograph in her pocket suddenly burning against her thigh.
Master Sergeant Cole served in a classified Special Forces unit for 22 years. His records were buried so deep, we only declassified fragments after his death.
22 years. He sat on my stoop talking about the weather. Never once.
He was a ghost, ma'am. After a mission went wrong in '91, he was officially dead. The government couldn't acknowledge him, so he walked away from everything.
And I just fed him. 8 years of Sundays, and he never said a word.
He chose you, Rachel. In 1992, he added a handwritten codicil to his sealed service jacket. It said, if someone ever treated him like a human being without knowing his rank, they would be his beneficiary.
Rachel's breath caught. She didn't speak. Maya stepped closer, her hand finding her mother's.
We've been waiting for years for that person to surface. When we traced his death, we found his Bible, the photograph, and your name on the funeral bill.
So, what does that mean? What did he leave?
General Morrison reached into his tunic and withdrew a sealed envelope, the same one she'd seen at the door. The red arrow pointed at her.
It's an 11-year back payment of his classified pension, plus a death benefit, and it's all yours, Miss Rachel. This is from him, as much as it's from the Army. He wanted you to have this.
Rachel stared at the envelope as if it were a living thing, something that could bite her. Her hands stayed at her sides.
Open it, Mom. He spent 8 years at our table. He wouldn't want you to be afraid.
Rachel looked at her daughter, then back at the seal. After a long breath, she nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. She reached out with both hands and took it. The paper was heavier than she expected. Her thumb slid under the flap. The red arrow tore away as the seal cracked. She pulled out a sheaf of papers, the folded edges crisp and official, smelling of ink and age. For a long moment, she just held them, unable to make her eyes focus on the words. The room held its breath.
Read it, Mom. Whatever it says, we're still standing.
Rachel blinked, her vision clearing. The letters on the page began to form words.
In the event of my death, any and all back, pay and benefits shall be released to the civilian who showed me dignity without knowledge of my rank.
Her voice broke, and she stopped, pressing her hand to her mouth.
He wrote that in 1992, Mom. He's been waiting almost 30 years.
He considered you family. His only demand was that the one who saw him got what he was owed.
All those Sundays, I just gave him a plate. I never knew.
Rachel unfolded more of the paper, revealing Raymond's own handwritten edition, the ink slightly smeared. If I should fall homeless, let my benefits go to the person who shares her table without asking for my rank.
It's like he knew he could count on you, even before he met you.
The enclosed check is the full amount. No taxes, no strings.
Rachel looked from the paper to the photograph in her pocket, the two images of the same man refusing to align. The check lay under the letter. Rachel slid it out, the numbers smudging as her tears fell. $511,824.32.
$511,824.32. $800.
That's more than this whole block is worth. He saved every cent? For us?
He never touched a penny of his pension. It accumulated in a government trust for 27 years, waiting for this moment. For you.
Rachel pressed the check against her heart and wept. It wasn't the money, it was the proof that the man she fed was never really homeless. General Harris uncradled his arm and stepped forward, a folded American flag held before him like an offering.
On behalf of the United States Army, I present this flag to you. He earned it, and you preserved it.
General Chen opened a velvet case. The Distinguished Service Cross caught the light, its bronze eagle, a silent witness to decades of sacrifice.
For extraordinary heroism in combat, details classified. Master Sergeant Cole never had a home. Now, he has a grave fit for a hero.
Rachel held the flag against her chest, the medal case in her lap, the check still clutched. Maya wrapped an arm around her, silent, both faces wet. The folded flag in Rachel's arms was heavier than it looked. It had flown over the Capitol just weeks before, an honor Raymond never knew he would receive.
This flag flew over the Capitol in his name. His service was classified, but this honor is not.
He was a hero all along. All those Sundays, and he never said,
Let's take him home now, Mom.
General Chen placed a small blue card in Rachel's palm, the citation for the Distinguished Service Cross, redacted but signed.
The words are sealed, but the act is not. Keep this where you keep his photograph. I'll put it inside his Bible. He never let go of that book, not for 8 years.
Rachel stood, the flag cradled like a sleeping child. The three generals stepped back, giving her room, their silence a final salute.
Thank you for coming. He would have hated all this attention, but he earned it.
Outside, the stoop waited in the morning light. The church was just 2 blocks away, and for the first time, Raymond would walk those steps surrounded by soldiers, not shadows. The church pews, meant to hold an empty morning, filled with uniforms and a few curious neighbors who had heard whispers. The flag-draped coffin rested at the altar. The pastor paused in his eulogy, his voice catching as he added, "We gather to honor a fallen hero whose sacrifice was hidden until this very hour." The three generals rose as one, their hands lifting to their brows in a slow, perfect salute. Outside the church, a firing party raised their rifles. 3 volleys cracked the air, sharp and final. Then silence. A lone bugler stepped forward and played taps, each note hanging like a prayer. Rachel moved to the coffin. From her pocket, she drew a single rose and laid it on the flag.
I see you now, Raymond. I see all of you.
Her fingers touched the flag once. Then she stepped back into Maya's arms.
He's not homeless anymore, Mom. He's home.
The pastor closed with a simple amen. Outside, the sun finally broke through the gray, and the Sunday meal table, back at the house, sat waiting, empty but not forgotten. Weeks after the funeral, Rachel sat at the lawyer's desk, pen in hand. The deed was typed out, smooth and final.
This is ours now, Maya. Not a rental, ours.
In the kitchen, Maya held a slab of wood while Rachel painted careful letters. The Sunday table.
He would have hated all this fuss, but he'd never miss a meal.
They carried a long folding table to the front yard, the same patch of concrete where Raymond had sat for 8 years.
He sat right there for 8 years. Now, so will they.
That first Sunday, they cooked together as dawn broke. The stew smelled of time and memory. By noon, the table was set with mismatched chairs and a vase of fresh-cut roses from the bush her mother had planted.
The first guest is already here. I saw a man sitting on the curb.
She carried the first plate out. The stoop was no longer just a step. It was a promise kept. The first plate went to the man on the curb. He ate like a man who'd been waiting for a Sunday.
Welcome to the Sunday table. There's always a plate.
Maya ladled the thick stew for a little girl, who held her bowl up with both hands. An old woman cupped her bowl and said, "I remember Raymond. He'd be proud." A neighbor shook her head and said, "We should have done this years ago."
Better late than never.
The table stretched longer with every plate that arrived. Strangers sat elbow to elbow. The wooden sign stood at the edge of the stoop. The Sunday table in Rachel's own handwriting. Rachel stood back, her dish towel draped over her shoulder, watching her front yard become something Raymond had always seen in her. The first Sunday meal ended in laughter. The table still half full of plates waiting for the ones who hadn't come yet. The Sunday table never closed. Not when the first snow fell, nor when the summer heat shimmered off the concrete. Every week, a single plate was set at the head of the table. Not for a ghost, for a promise. Neighbors brought bread. Strangers brought stories. The homeless brought hunger, and left with something warmer, the hand-painted sign, weathered 3 springs, but the letters never faded. Rachel repainted them herself every April. Maya, home from college on breaks, always took the first shift. Then her mother took the second, and the line grew. The house with the stoop still stands. The old rose bush still blooms. And somewhere in the soil, wrapped in a flag, a hero rests. On any given Sunday, if you walk past that stoop just before noon, you'll see a table set for strangers. You'll smell time and memory, and you'll hear laughter. And if you sit down, someone will hand you a plate. Because that's what the Sunday table is. A place where you don't need a name. Only an empty stomach. The table never closed. And the plate for Raymond is always waiting.